Hi, this is the third tutorial for the Scratch activity, and in this tutorial we're going to take a look at the knock knock joke project. First we're going to run it and then we're going to review it. If you step into the DePaul LSP 121 Fall 2013 Scratch Studio, you'll see there's two knock knock joke programs, a simple joke and a full joke. Let's take a look at the simple joke first to get an understanding of what's going on, and this is similar to what you're going to be asked to do on your assignment. And in the simple joke program, we can run the program first and then we'll go inside and take a look at what's going on. So what we have going on here are two sprites having a conversation. The purpose of the program is for you to learn how to build a conversation, how to manage time in your program so each sprite character is listening while the other one is talking. The other thing we're going to work on in this program is the ability to hide and show sprites. At the beginning of this program, both sprites were hidden and we make them appear. So let's take a look inside. In this program we have two sprites as opposed to the 5 sprites in the name program. You can see I selected images of a football player and a referee. For your knock knock joke, you can write any joke you want except for the one I chose, and you can use any sprite you want except for the one I chose. You can pull sprites out of the library provided by Scratch. You can draw your own sprites. You can upload sprites from your computer or find them on the internet and put them on your computer and upload them for use. Let's start by taking a look at the football player sprite. So I'm clicking on him down here to bring up the behaviors that he's exhibiting, and you can see that when the green flag is clicked, the first thing we do is show him. So if he wasn't visible, he's now visible. That's not absolutely necessary. It's in there simply so you can see the process of showing. Then he is saying something. Well, saying, even though he's saying, it's considered a look rather than a sound in Scratch because we're not actually audibly hearing anything. We're visually seeing something happen here. We're seeing the little dialog box. So we borrow this box, say hello for 2 seconds, bring it over. We customize what he's saying. We customize the length of time that he's saying it, and that's how I got hey ref, knock knock for 1.5 seconds. I'll drop the one I'm not using here. Then we have him wait. Well, the reason he's waiting is because this is when the referee is going to appear and the referee is going to say his first line of this script. So let's take a look at the referee sprite. And you can see I chose to hide him at the beginning of the program, wait 2 seconds. Those were the 2 seconds that the football player was getting ready to talk. Then show up, wait another half a second, and then say who's there. So that full 2.5 seconds should match the, well, I got 1.5 seconds and I guess he's bumping up there a little later. So again, we run it from the beginning and we see football player first, referee showing up, and then a little later saying who's there. We can play with the timing to try to get that dialogue back and forth in an equal basis. Anyway, the football player waits as the referee speaks, then says hatch, waits again, then says Gesundheit, and the referee is waiting at the beginning, saying his line, waiting, saying his line, waiting, and then I have him thinking his last line. That's part of, I guess, my joke here. Your assignment is going to be very similar to this, but again, your own knock knock joke, your own sprites, set up your own pacing depending on how many lines you've got, set up your own humor. I'm going to add a little bit here to this. I'm going to add hide at the end for the referee And I'm also going to add a hide at the end. I want to wait a little longer here after he says Gesundheit. So I go to Control, wait. Let's wait 2 seconds. And then I'm going to hide him at the end. So the whole thing kind of ends with everybody invisible. And let's run this. Yeah, so everybody's invisible at the end. So now at the beginning, he shows up from an invisible state. Since I made a little change, I would save it. And of course, if I save it now, it's going to look a little bit different when you get there than what I showed you. So in this case, I think I'd rather not make that change. I'm just going to revert, I believe. Or just go to new. Oh, it saved it on me. Well, you're going to see that version now because it went and auto-saved it, which is a good thing. It's harder to lose information, but you're going to see a program a little bit different than what I showed you at the beginning. I do want to take you to the more complete knock-knock joke, so let me jump there. And to do that, I'll choose Go to My Stuff. And in My Stuff, I can go into My Studio again and the full knock-knock joke. Now, my full knock-knock joke adds a whole bunch of additional features to it that are beyond the assignment. And it's bigger. It took a little longer to open, but it's open now. And let's run this so you'll see what I've got going on here. I slide in the football player from the left, slide in the referee from the right. They have the very same dialogue. I may have changed the last line. Yeah, the referee drops a flag and penalizes a football player. So in doing this, I've introduced a third sprite, the flag, and let's take a look at what's going on inside. So now I have a football player, a referee, I have a flag, and for the football player, pretty much the same stuff's going on. I wanted him to slide in from off screen, so I gave him a position way to the left. I first hid him, then gave him position way to the left, waited a second. I'm showing him, but I'm showing him off screen, and then I'm gliding him into position, the position I want him in. I have him thinking something before he speaks, have him speaking. I timed all of that to know when the referee would need to show up. And the referee gives his first line. Let's see, that was 1.5, 1.5, that's 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. So the referee should be coming in and ready to speak at about 5 seconds. Let's take a look at the referee. Yeah, I have him waiting 4 seconds and gliding for 1 second, and then he's ready to say who's there. Why do I have a wait for 0 seconds? Because earlier in the process I was playing with the timing to get it exactly right, and it turned out the right timing was 0. I guess I could pull that out, but in case I adjust in the future, I'm going to leave that there. So he's saying his who's there at the correct time. He waits for the football player's line. He says his hatch who. He waits again for the football player. I've timed the pop sound to come up exactly when the flag hits the ground. He waits a second, and then he gives his punchline. The flag sprite, and that to get that sprite, I needed to go out to the internet, find an image of a flag. Then what I did is I saved it locally into a file. I uploaded that image from a file on my computer, took the uploaded image, and brought it into the editor. And the way I did that is I focused on flag here, went to costumes, and when you go to costumes, it brings you into the editor for the costume for the flag. The costume is kind of like the skin of the sprite, and I went and I resized it. It was way too big, and kind of got it to the size I wanted it to be. So I worked with WebFile, and I worked with the editor to prepare this flag. Coming back to scripts here. Oh, and then the sound. Well, the sound I used Actually, the sound I use belongs to the referee. This is a cat sound that I've got no interest in. So the pop is associated with the referee. This is a built-in sound with scratch, and it just sounds like a pop, and I thought that sounded nice, so that's what I'm using. I'm not using the cat sound that somehow attached itself to the flag. Does make no sense to have the flag meow when it hit the ground. And then the script, this flag hides itself. It goes off way to the right. I've got it waiting there, and then I have it going into position behind the referee, and I made sure that it would set itself behind the referee. There's actually a way to set its they call it a z-axis, the way to make it kind of behind something else, but this one pretty much automatically put itself behind the referee. So I have it waiting there, and then waiting for the dialogue, and then I have it moving minus 50 steps, basically from behind him to his hand, and then I have it, and that's just a real quick move, and then it glides down over 1 second to rest on the ground. So that's basically what the flag is doing, and of course the pop is associated with the referee when the flag hits the ground. I could have moved the sound over to the flag and brought it in here, and that probably would have made more sense to do. And in fact, why don't I show you how to do that so you would know if you ever do want to move a sound, or for that matter, move anything else. And the way you do it is you highlight it in the editor that you're working in, and this will work with a script as well as a sound. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say duplicate. So now I have a second version of the sound, and I'm going to take that and drag it on top of the sprite that I want to copy it to. And after I've done that, I think I probably want to check that it's really there. I'm going to trust right now that it's there. And then I can delete the original duplicate. Now if I come on over, there is that pop sound that it just got copied over. I'm going to delete the meow because I don't need the meow here. And now I've got a pop associated with the flag, as well as having a pop associated with the referee. Well, if I want the pop associated with the flag to make the sound, I'll go to sound, and I'll say, as soon as you drop it, and go ahead and play that sound, pop 2. In fact, now that I deleted the meow, that's the only sound I have available. So I should have 2 pops coming up at the end. And if I wanted to get rid of the other pop, I could pull that out of there, wait 3.5 seconds instead of the 2.5 and 1. But let's try it with both pops going. And they should pop at the same time. Let's see if that happens. We might hear one right after the other. Yeah, we heard one pop right after the other there. So that is my more complex program, and it gives you a chance to see additional things that you could do in your knock-knock joke if you've got an interest in getting creative with it. I'll stop here and then bring you into the activity for the very last program you're going to want to see.